Coming up on the Santana Mall Show, they asked the Cowboy Killer myself, how was my trip to D-Land to watch my Canes not so roar?
They ain't roar. We talking football.
Predictions. What do my Redskins have in store for week 1 against that Cardinals?
Can't wait. We got football.
We talking worst names on fantasy football, and I believe Leesburg Piker should be one on the list.
I agree with you. And we're talking taking L's, and we talking football. Did I mention that?
The Santana Mall Show starts now.
It's the Santana Mall Show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical fact.
Now I'm ready to go. Now I'm ready to go. Let's go. Santana Mall Show podcast. What's up, brother?
How you doing, man?
Good, man. Santana Mall's Travis Thomas. It's good to have you back. You've been all around the world, and I
can't find my baby.
Come on, baby. Now, you the Cowboy Killer, but last I looked, you was in Dallas checking out the U. And you took a L.
Yes, Lord. We'll get
Lord
into that.
have mercy. What
look,
happened?
Look, my trip, I want to get into the trip part of it first.
Let's stay positive.
Let's talk about the trip. I enjoyed the trip. I mean, it's something that I've been telling I have family up in Dallas.
Right.
And been talking to my uncle, Lauren, for so long. And, we always reminiscing about just our fun times growing up and down in Liberty City. And him and my other uncle, Michael, they both resided there now after they left the military and their family and grown their family up there. And we share so many memories and talking about how we need to, how he wished he can come home when he wants to and how we need to come see him. So having that chance to go up there and see them guys, man, was everything. Because I sat there and we just reminisce. We watched college football on Saturday, and we just reminisce about the old times back into that house on 78th quarter, whatever, and just talking about some of the memories he had, some of the memories I had. And that was everything. And now I'm getting prepared. My whole mental was just like, boy, I can't wait for tomorrow. I can't wait to go out here and represent for these Canes, see my boys. We gonna tailgate, we gonna have a good time. And then it was just a letdown. But not to elaborate too much on that loss. The trip alone was fun. It was something that I look forward to doing more. Just coming up there and seeing my folks. But the Canes just, left me with a bitter taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I tell you what, all those Canes hanging around, former Canes, yourself, Clinton, Edge. I saw Michael Irvin out there. I mean, you name it, they were there. I wish y'all still had eligibility because, my God, man, LSU just beat ass.
Look. So I came to the conclusion that I would no longer be attending University of Miami games. I have went to 5 games since I've been retired. And we have lost every single one of them.
Damn,
it's not the way. It's not about the losing part, because someone has to lose.
Right.
But in the fashion of getting embarrassed every time, we have been embarrassed every game I've attended. So I will no longer be to a game. And
please don't.
I'm already superstitious. Alone, you know how superstitious I am. Of course. So I'm sitting here watching the game in the third quarter when I got up and left. I was saying to myself, I could have been home sitting on my couch watching this, and I'd rather take that letdown there than where I was at. So, it's all good. But that's my whole thing now. I won't be attending no more games. Hey, I'm a Cane. I'm a root for these guys. I would never jump off that bandwagon because they made me who I am.
No doubt. And, ride or die.
I will forever be a Cane. I'll forever root those guys on. But I won't be attending the games because I feel like I do you better at home. I can sit there and call
from a distance.
Call all the shots from watching it on my couch.
Speaking of shots, in a lot of these pictures, I notice a coffee cup in your hand. Is that what's going on there?
I was drinking tea.
Tea.
Tito's.
Tito. All right, man. Well, look, I'm glad you had a good trip.
Great
I want to
time.
get into some football, and we won't talk about the Canes. We'll talk about the NFL. What did you think of the opener, Falcons-Eagles? The Eagles getting it done, 18-12 in Philly on banner night. They rose the championship banners and the whole 9 yards. That game was delayed like an hour because of a rainstorm from hell. But finally they got out there. They got it playing. And to me, Tana, it looked like the playoff game from last year. It was almost like an instant replay.
Don't get it twisted. I came into the game like, you know what? I look forward to last night as if I was getting ready for a game, like
Right.
as if I was playing. I had my whole day mapped out. Look, I had nothing to do. I'm gonna get a haircut. I'm gonna go work out. I had something to go handle it at Redskins facility. I had to talk to this closer on something I'm doing down in Miami, and I'm like, at 7:30, 8,
Shutting it
7,
down.
I'm shutting everything down, getting ready for this game, and I was rooting for the Falcons. I'm rooting for the Falcons. Look here, the Eagles are in the NFCs. Don't want nothing for you but bad. You know, I don't. Hey, you know, I love some of the guys out there that I watch, you know, play good football, but I don't want them to win. And just to see the game and the outcome. Look, one of the things I can tip my hat off to the Eagles and both sides for, it was a hard-fought game. It was one of those games that it wasn't a blowout.
Nope.
It was a good game, but I just hate to see what's going on, you know, in Atlanta when it comes to getting, you know, Julio involved, but
Play
just
calling.
not finding a way to get him in the end zone,
Yeah.
and then overdoing it when it comes to trying to get him in the end zone.
I completely agree.
You leave so much on the field. You know, I watched that game, and those guys was in the red zone the first 3 drives and no touchdowns. And I'm saying you have to go away from Julio because there's so many other guys, so many other options that's available. And if you know you're going into a ball game, the whole entire offseason we talked about why Julio doesn't score more touchdowns.
Right.
Don't you know the opposite team, the opposing team is going to come into the game plan saying that we have to shut this guy down in the red zone.
They're going to be looking to get him going.
He's going to get them in the area every time.
Yes.
Yes, we can't do nothing about that. He's just a beast, and he's going to do that. But when we get in this red zone, we pinning our ears back, and we making sure that number 11 is not getting into this paint.
I told Tana off the mic before we started this, I said, if you had the targets that Julio got, you'd be in the Hall of Fame. This guy had 19 targets, Tana. Now, he did have 10 receptions for $169, but no touchdowns. Tana, here's my issue. You run the ball as a team 18 times for 74 yards. You are averaging 4 yards a pop. You got to run the ball more. Devontae Freeman, Tevin, I call him Campbell, Tevin Coleman. I mean, what are you doing? Run the ball. I thought Steve Sarkisian's play calling was awful, and I put a lot of blame on Matt Ryan. I do not, for the life of me, understand how this guy got the nickname Matty Ice. Ice what?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Matty. I like Matty, and I truly believe that Steve is in the hot seat. He's been in the hot seat since last season.
Right.
I think ever since Cal left that team, the offense took 2 steps backwards, and you can't have that. Especially when you riding high on with guys like Matty and guys like Julio, you know, and then having a backfield that they have a dual-headed monster back there in the backfield. You cannot, you know, allow yourself not to be put up points when you have so much or so many weapons, you know, on the offensive side.
You can't blame the weather either because at that point it was dry and
trust me, I've been saying this since last season. So just to see them start this season off like they finished last season, I think it was a total letdown. Don't get me wrong, it's still week 1. So I understand those guys probably saying all the right things and they going into this week saying, hey, we got to get back to work. But something has to be done with the OC. He has to pick his game up.
I agree.
Because the guys out there playing the game, they playing well. And you can't say that they didn't go out there and try to, you know, punch it in. They tried hard. But it's something needed more. I think, you know, the schemes was too plain. I mean, you spreading everybody out. You spreading everybody out and saying, oh, we going to Julio. Everybody and mama know where you're coming with the ball. Right. So find a way to be more creative down in that area. Agreed. And you don't have to overdo it when it comes to getting your starter ball. We understand that he got him down there. At times it's going to be, you have to say, let's use him as the donkey. Let's use him as that decoy and let everybody go his way so we can get somebody else open. Because I saw numerous of times it was 4 or 5 guys that was left by themselves.
No question. So, obviously, we'll give credit to the Philly defense as well. They still look super just like they did last year. But Nick Foles has absolutely turned back into Nick Foles. He looked terrible last night. And I was pissed because I lost money on that game. Speaking of games I have money on, how about the Skins in the desert, my friend, against the Cardinals? Who do you like in that game?
Well, you know, I'm a ride high on my Skins. But the first and the foremost, I wanted to see these guys go out there and play a hard-fought game. I truly believe that we all have a notion of saying that Jay Gruden's offense is going to be pass-happy. Mm-hmm. He knows that he likes to get pass-happy at times. I'm not sure if it was just because who he had at quarterback or what. But I think coming into this season, you have to find a balance. So when it comes to saying you have to find a balance, you know, everything is going to be riding on that offensive line and that backfield. You know, these guys have to step up to the challenge and say, hey, in order for us to get these kind of games that everyone want to see from us, we have to find a way to protect the quarterback and be vicious when it comes to run blocking and pass blocking, but especially run blocking. You have a guy in the backfield that can break all kind of records. I think he still has it in him. You know, AP still has, to me, a couple of gears left in him.
That's his former team, too.
Yeah.
You don't think he wants that?
Trust me, he's chopping at the bits right now. He's chopping at the bits knowing that, hey, man, I spent a couple of months over there, and I don't think I did them no justice, or they did me no justice with what I can do. So I'm sure he want to go out there and shine. So I'm hoping just to see a balanced attack. I want to see a balanced attack, and I truly believe if you go out there with that notion, that mindset, saying that, hey, we want to get things established, we all know how that first game of the season is. You have to be calm enough to know that a lot of stuff going to be going on. The emotions going to be riding high. Just settle down and play football. Settle down and not try to put too much on Alex, because everyone in the world knows that we can be crazy enough and say we're going to go out here and put everything on Alex, and that's not his game. That is not the way he won games over there in Kansas City. So I'm hoping that we don't put everything on his shoulders and his arm, because that's not how we're going to be able to win games and be a great team this year.
I completely agree with everything you said. I mean, look, especially for this week, game plans change week to week, and obviously schematically there are things you want to do every week, right? And you want to have consistency and you want to have an identity on offense and defense. I get it. But for this week in particular, week 1, against this team on the road, against that quarterback, Sam Bradford, please, I think you run the ball. Adrian Peterson, he's fresh right now. Mm-hmm. Hasn't taken damage over the years, fresh legs, hasn't played. And this is his former team who gave up on him. Let's call it what it is, okay? Man, run the hell out of that guy for this week. Run the ball, play ball control. To your point, Alex Smith has proven he won't crash the car.
Yeah.
So if it's 3rd and 6, let him throw it. We have a healthy Jordan Reed right now. Let's get Jordan Reed going. Let's try to get your boy Josh Doxson going. But let's just turn around and hand it off to AP for this game. Get out of there in a low-scoring, tough, hard-fought, bloody-your-nose type of football game. Redskins get a win.
Don't get it twisted with Sam, because Sam have shown, and we played against Sam before early in the year.
When he's healthy.
When he was healthy, and he was accurate as crap.
Yeah.
So he's a guy that when he's healthy, he can dink that ball around to the wide open guy. He will find you. And that's one of the things about a receiver we love in a quarterback like Sam. When he's healthy, he knows every spot on the field to throw the ball at. So don't get it twisted. So we have to come in there with that mindset to rattle him.
Sure.
That's why I'm hoping that our front seven is ready to rattle him and make sure that they can hold those guys down in the secondary, because you still have Fitzgerald out there. He catches everything. So, with all that said, I believe they have enough weapons that we should go out there and be able to say, hey, we have some pretty good competition to go up against, and we can't come up here and take these guys lightly. Everybody will say, oh, you got Sam at quarterback, you should be like it. No, don't do that. Don't do that, because he can beat you if you allow him to.
All right, let's do this. Every week we should play back our score prediction for the previous week,
okay
right? Let's go. I'm gonna go Skins 27, Cardinals 21. Going 6-point win.
I say it's 24-20.
Woo! So we got similar scores. All right, we'll play this back. I don't know if this is going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but we going to play it, baby.
No, I like it. I like it because
then we'll recap and we'll hear what we thought, right? Yeah. All right, let's go to any other matchups in the NFL Week 1 you like. For my money, it could be teams or a player matchup. For my money, I like the Niners in Minnesota against Kirk Cousins and the new-look Vikings. Jimmy Garoppolo versus Kirk, that's intriguing to me. Mm-hmm. I give the Vikings an edge because they're at home, but I am interested to see both of those teams now with who they think is their quarterback of the future in place.
NFC East guy, and I'm always looking at who the opposing teams are playing.
Okay.
I'm gonna be tuned in 1:00 sharp to see the Ramsey and Odell Beckham matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond
Giants,
that matchup
Jaguars.
alone, because, that defense alone over there, Jacksonville defense is one of my fantasy defenses, so I'm definitely going to be paying attention to that. But besides that, I want to see how Manny is playing with the new backfield and the supposed to be revamped offensive line.
Right.
And just having his weapon back. You know, Odell brings a lot of, you know, spark to your offense. Him alone, you get this guy a hitch and he can take it 90. You know what I mean? He's that type of receiver. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does against this Jacksonville defense. I think Ramsey's going to come in there with all the, you know.
I was going to say, who wins the matchup?
Yeah, I never get caught up in that matchup thing because you know how I think about it. I feel like any corner can really cover any receiver if the defense around them or in front of them can really, you know, get after the quarterback. So if they getting after, you know, Manning, it's probably going to be a long day for Odell. But with the way they do things over there, they'll find a way to move him around and get him the ball in his hands where he can be, you know, one of those guys to be a threat early in the game.
We'll see the opposite of what we saw last night. We'll actually see some creativity offensively, right?
No doubt.
I like Ramsey in that matchup just because I agree with you. I think that pass rush will get to Manning.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about Eli. I've said it a bunch. I think Eli Manning is washed.
I think he's winding down.
I think it's over.
I don't, you know, I don't agree with you because I truly believe last year he had nothing. He had no blindside help. He didn't have an offensive line, period. And the run game was, you know, what run game? You know,
right.
he didn't have nothing. So, and then you didn't have your best weapon, the best in the NFL. I believe that Odell had become, to me, the most lethal weapon in this league at the time, and he's out. So when you riding high for the last few years with a guy like Odell and then having a somewhat, you know, okay backfield and don't have neither, you know, what's left for a quarterback to do? So I'm looking forward to seeing Manning bounce back. I'm not a big fan of the Giants. You know why?
Of course.
Because of the division.
Yeah.
But the Mannings, I've always been a big fan of those guys because they know how to get the job done.
Well, you mentioned you have Jacksonville's defense. Santana Moss.
So you know who I'm rooting for.
Santana Moss is playing fantasy football, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the club, my friend. You're now a degenerate like the rest of us. Yeah. So I want to ask you about your fantasy team, but first, this article, the worst names for fantasy football teams, and I went through this thing, and there were a few that stood out to me. These are just plain dirty. The Cleveland Steamers, Multiple Scoregasms, Sex Grossman. What's another one that stood out? I found a couple that were pretty good. Oh, I kind of like this one. Make America Gronk Again. Jake Butt Fumbles, pretty good. So there's some good ones. But, Tana, I want you to talk about your team and the roster. But first, do you feel like you should add your team name to this list? Because I'm not in love with your team name.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it. Well, first, I shared with you that just getting involved into the whole fantasy thing, it was like you know, damn, am I really doing this?
Right.
And when they said come up with a team name, the first thing came to my mind was what it was, Leesburg Pikers.
What is that?
Why did I think of that?
Why did you think of that?
I don't even know. Well, you know, I live in Leesburg, Virginia, and there's a road I take. You know, Leesburg Pike. So Leesburg Pikers. It sucks. You know, the name sucks. So yeah, there you have it. It sucks, and I'm okay enough to admit it. But hey, at the end of the day, it's not about how fancy your name is. It's not going to win you any games. It's about who you have playing for that team. And to be truthful, I didn't get a fair chance to pick anybody that was, to me, I think that was on the top tier of elite guys. But who? Aaron Rodgers. He was one of my better picks for my team. So I'm riding high with what Aaron can do for me, but I did trickle out and find some guys that I feel that can be productive. You know, I got a couple of friends that's still in the league that I think highly of when it comes to that game. I got my cousin on my team, James White. I think what the Patriots do with him is he's going to find a way to get me points because he rack up points out the backfield.
That's your cousin?
Yeah, that's my cousin.
What kind of goddamn genes do you have, man? Ain't no Thomases out there doing
So you know, I kind of filled my team out with guys that I feel that would be productive, you know, week to week because of, you know, their skill level. And let's see what happens, man. This is my first time taking a dose of this fantasy football thing, and I'm hoping the Leesburg Pikers can shock the world, you know?
Man, I need to get some cousins or somebody doing something, man.
Regular degular.
Damn. It pisses me off, man.
It'll be all right.
All right, let's talk about taking L's. I might as well talk about my DNA strand or something. For me, Tana, man, I had a huge L, bro. I was supposed to be on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
See how I'm using air quotes?
Yeah, I saw you.
Bro, I went to Wisconsin, visit my best friend, and I, for some reason, thought it would be a good idea to drive halfway across the country with a 1-year-old.
You like taking road trips, I see.
I love road trips, but I guess I got to fly these days because it did not go well with the
be
1-year-old.
careful not flying because it's even worse with a 1-year-old.
So that's my thing. What I was thinking was, if I fly, it's going to be worse. I'll be scared, the air pressure thing. Yeah. And I was like, it's probably better if I drive because he's used to riding in a car and you can stop and I can control him a little. You could get up, you could change him, you could feed him, you could do whatever you got to do. But the reality is he was sick and tired of that car seat after a while. And there was nothing that could be done.
Well, you got to invite your little friend with you, too, next time you do that. You got to invite this, one of my best friends, Benadryl. I believe Benadryl will keep your little man okay and for your ride. And it's not going to knock him out the entire. Now, you want to fly? Then it'd probably be best because now you get 2 hours,
Yeah,
hey,
he'll be out.
At least he'll enjoy that little nap.
Yeah.
But when you're taking those trips, you just got to be prepared, man. A guy that got 5 of them, trust me, I done been through my ups and downs when it comes to, with those kids on the plane. But like I say, I've always had my friend on the side with me, so
yeah,
he took care of him for me.
Well, the road trip was tough, but I did have fun once I got there. It's something, I don't know, man. Wisconsin, you don't think much about it. And I always go during the summer, so I haven't dealt with a winter. Yeah. As you know, it's crazy out there. But look, man, when it comes to beer and food, that is the best state in America. I mean, everything's fried, which is fantastic. The Bloody Marys
It's not fantastic, but I get you.
I sent you the picture about the Bloody Mary that I had. I mean, the beer's great. It's just a great state, man. Cheese. They got everything going for them. Good football, Packers, Badgers, good sports.
Yeah.
I dig it. So, all right, give me your taking L's.
I had 2 of them. Two L's this past weekend. So, first, before I went to Dallas for the Miami game, I was traveling to Hagerstown, Maryland, for this thing they had going on there, bringing awareness to prescription drugs and heroin abuse. I went there to, be a supportive, face for the community and just try to bring some awareness to the situation. And, for anyone who's up here in the Leesburg area, they might know this better than anyone else, but on 15, whether you're going south or north, at a certain time of the day, traffic is bananas. And I was traveling north on 15, and I was literally sitting in traffic about an hour before I decided to say, let me back out of this thing and go a different route. So I typed in on my Waze, and it showed me a different route. I had to go towards, I was going towards West Virginia to get there. And so I did that. But I think the time of me spending that time in that car, and it was early in the day. I had just had lunch and just worked out before that. I worked out, had lunch, and now I'm sitting in the car getting ready to go to Hagerstown and show my face to support this cause. And I got a little tired. Because normally I'm taking a nap around that time of the day.
Right.
If I'm not working or doing anything, normally after I work out and have my lunch, I take a little quick nap. And I think that clock went off in me and said, hey, you're not doing nothing, so you should be napping.
Right.
Here I am riding to Hagerstown. I found the back cut, and I'm riding, and then I'm scared as crap because I'm telling myself to either roll my window down and let the fresh air hit my face or blast the music or call someone and talk to them just so I can stay up.
Pep you up.
And I was literally finding myself, nodding.
Damn.
I'm nodding. I'm like, man, Tanner, stay up. So just before I said that to myself for the last time, I found myself in a dream, and I didn't know at the time what was going on. And all I knew, I woke about this dream, and I'm going off the road.
Come on, bro.
And it was a rail. And it's an L, but it wasn't an L. It was an L to my car, but my life was spared. I was literally driving off the road into nothing because I was on a cliff. And when I saw the rail, I swerved quick, and I just scraped the whole side of my Suburban up. And, me being who I am, I was like, my car up. I'm pissed off. But, man, my life was spared. And I'm sitting there like, man, I literally was up the rest of the trip. Like, man, I was probably 5 or 10 minutes down the road from where my destination was at.
They say you get more relaxed the closer you get to your destination.
And I'm like, man, the whole entire ride, I was nodding and telling myself to, snap out of it. And now I get halfway there, and now I want to.
You told yourself you was there.
Yeah, so that was my first L. And
hold up. For the first time in taking L history, we're going to turn that L to a damn dub.
Yes,
that's
Lord.
a win because we still got Santana Moss here living with us. Because I'm telling you right now, in them mountains, it was a wrap for you, brother. Had you gone off that rail,
bro, that man
it was a wrap.
That man was with me, and I said to myself, you know what? F this car. F this truck. I'm here. I'm here to talk about it.
Man.
And
you got insurance.
It was funny because I ended up going to the function, and I spoke, about the cause, and I'm sitting here saying to myself, like, none of this would happen if I went off that cliff, man. Like, I literally put it behind me quick, immediately. I wanted to forget about it. But trust me, I thought about it the entire weekend. Like, man, I literally was about to go off a cliff because I was exhausted. And it made me come to the conclusion of saying, hey, I might need someone just to take me places when I'm going on these little different functions, trips and stuff across town. Because regardless of what I do and how I like to do it myself, at times, man, that could happen,
You can call me next time. I say, hey, Tanner, wake your ass up.
So my second L, I can't leave this one out. I think Canes Nation took a L, man. We all, as alumni, as fans, if you would have saw the whole pregame, that's one of the things about me. I'm one of the guys that I have this thing about myself. It's a pet peeve. I don't like to speak before work is done. I don't like to talk no trash before what I'm going out to do is done, because I want to save room for me to talk the entire time after it's over to give you whatever you want. You know what I mean? And so when it came time for us playing LSU, I had a little something in the back of my mind that's saying that I just hope this quarterback is ready. The last 3 games last year wasn't that pleasant for him.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that he was able to put that behind himself in the offseason and prepare a little differently, knowing that this is his last time going out here to be allowed to have this opportunity. And we did a whole lot of partying, which that's what tailgaters do. That's what alumni do. That's what fans do. But to be in the spot that we was at coming into the season at ranked number 9 and playing LSU, which I knew they was going to fight. I knew these guys was going to go out here and play tough. It's LSU, SEC football. But for them to have the rankings that they had and us to go out there and lay an egg, I was upset. And I feel like as a whole, we took a L. And in order for us to snap back, I understand we have some pipsqueak team this week, and I'm not looking forward for these guys to go beat up on these guys. I'm looking forward for them to win, yes. But we have to go out there and play well every time we get a chance to play. And that's why I feel that we could have lost that game against LSU, but if we would have fought and made it a game from first to last, then I would have felt better about it.
Right.
And that's all I ask for these guys. Look, I understand what pressure you have of wearing that U on your helmet. I understand I understand what everybody expects of you guys. But just know this. With all those high expectations, it comes something that a lot of you guys don't even know. It comes a level of play that we expect with those high expectations. You're not going to win every game. We understand that. We didn't win every game when we played. I didn't win every game when I played. But it's a level of play we expect also. So with that level of play that is expected, you have to go out there and live up to those measures. Whether you win or lose, we're going to be happy because you went out there and laid it on the line and played to our expectations. Now, the way they played, they flat out got whooped last week. And for you to put that behind you, you have to go out there and play well the rest of the season. You have to go out here and show these naysayers that say that, you're not back. You have to go out there and prove to them that you are. And the only way you put that behind you is playing that way against a competitive, team. And this week might be one of those teams that you can't look, for those guys to go out there and show up on. Yes, you want them to win, but the next guys up, whoever you have that's that's ranked or rather that's going to be considered a little better than LSU, you have to go out there and play, man. And I would have been feeling a lot better that night if those guys went out there and fought hard.
Just
but
fight.
they didn't. They didn't fight. And they didn't look like the team from last year. The quarterback looked like himself, and I hate to say that because I don't like to get on nobody. You know,
but he is who he is.
He is who he is. So that's what we have. So we have to deal with it.
Right.
But I think as a total, coaches and players, you have to go out there and want to play a little better. And you can't walk around with that you and just think to show up and people going to lay down. No, these guys are going to want to embarrass you like LSU did because they know that if we play well against that you, then we can sit there and feel a little something special about ourselves.
I would like to say this to Canes Nation as well. You know, you alums and you former players, you have loved ones in your life who love you. And they didn't go to Miami. But through affiliation with you, they're fans.
Yeah.
Like myself. I love this man next to me. So what did I do? I put my baby, my 1-year-old baby, in a Canes onesie. And I put on social media, go Canes, we riding for Uncle Tanner tonight. And then what happens? Canes get their ass beat. So you know what? Y'all owe my son an apology. I want an apology. And I mean, I'll take, like, tickets to a game or something like that. I mean, that's cool.
I'll say sorry for him. We apologize, buddy. We apologize for Colt. Colt represent us hard, man. So I say so. I'll apologize for those guys. They'll find a way to bounce back for you, man.
Hey, speaking of which, I'm going to get the next onesie from your boy. Can we give some love to DJ Williams? Because those shirts y'all were wearing in them pictures are hot.
One time for Dime Life. Oh, yeah, man. Dime Life has been showing us so much love, especially the guys who he played with. You know, my boy DJ Williams, former Cane, former NFL vet. He came up with this line of clothing, man, and it represent those Canes. So, you know, on these pictures that you see that we posting, all us was blessed to be able to put on a Dime Life shirt and hat. And that's courtesy to my boy DJ Williams. So one time for Dime Life, man.
Yeah, I like what the Edgerrin. Hey, Rob, go to the other picture, man. The first one. Yeah, that Edgerrin James tank top right there is hot fire. We
in the DMV showing love to Dime Life.
I love
man.
that,
One time,
bro.
305, baby.
I love that. All right, look, Santana Moss Show podcast. We're on everything. Everything? Everything. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Go get that thing.
Google Play.
Yeah.
It's a Santana and my show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical fact.